film?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my name is Ivy, and I work in BTF 301. I'm a math tutor in the math lab. And today I'm going to help you work on your MAT 65 graphing project that's in Module 3. This project is a 2-page paper that they want you to write, and it consists of charts, graphs, and writing within those 2 pages. So one page will be writing, one page will be your charts and your graphs. Now, the assignment uses certain numbers and costs and names of plans that I have changed for this project. So make sure that you're using the correct numbers and costs when you do your project. The assignment says that your boss is ordering cell phone service for the company, and she tells you to make this big presentation, and the future of the company depends on you, basically, and that she wants to see how well you do. So, to begin your report, you contacted the cell phone company, and they gave you the information about their 3 available services. The bronze plan, with this plan, each person is charged $19.95 a month and 32 cents per minute. Come on in, just sign in. The diamond plan, with this plan, each person is charged $39.99 a month and 18 cents per minute. And the platinum plan, with this plan, each person is charged $82.99 with unlimited minutes. Then the directions go on to say, to prepare your report and presentation to the president, you should do the following. Define your variables, write an equation for each plan that represents the cost based on the number of minutes used. Using increments of 10 minutes, make a table that shows how much each plan costs. Graph your 3 equations on the same XY axis. Determine exactly the 3 points of intersection, and determine the range of air time for when each plan is the least expensive. Then you summarize all that in the paper. So what I want you to do is on those 6 bullet points, just number those 1 through 6, because that helps us keep track of them. And you may want to highlight any important information, which would be the costs per month, cost per minute, and just get yourself oriented around all the information and familiar with it. So there are 3 plans, and if you notice when you numbered, there's 6 main steps. We're going to use Word to create this project, and you can use any word processor, but Word is what most people have. So I opened up Word, just a blank Word document, nothing special about it. And some teachers do accept hand-drawn and handwritten papers, but definitely ask your instructor first, because some of them do not accept hand-drawn, handwritten, and some do. So looking at our information, step 1 says define the variables. Well, we've got to go back and look at the information they gave us, our variables. Well, for variables, we usually use X and Y. So those are good to know. On our bronze plan, they're talking about per month, per minute. If we're just looking at 1 month, what would X and Y necessarily represent?
Y would represent your minutes, and X maybe the month.
Okay. So with this graphing project, we're using the Y equals mx plus b format, which is the equation for a line, any line. And that's what we're going to have to end up doing is graphing this on a line. So Y equals, what is this usually over here? Isn't this usually a total? So what would Y be? Total
The minutes
for what?
plus the
Yeah.
total price, monthly price.
Right, the total price. So Y is going to be our total cost or our total price or our expense, however you like to say that. So X is going to be multiplied by something, and we're going to be adding a base cost. So what's the base cost for bronze? $19.99. So that's going to be our B. So what's going to be X? I'm sorry. Well, no. X is going to be represented by the unknown, which is multiplied by M. So what's going to be M?
The minutes.
The minutes. Well, the minutes cost per
Well,
minute.
right, cost per minute.
So X is going to be the minutes, right? Very good. X is going to be the minutes. So if X is the minutes and Y is the total cost, and we have our format, we need to make an equation for each plan. There's 3 plans. So the first plan we said is the bronze plan. So that's gonna be, we said Y is our total cost, so Y equals, what's our M for the bronze plan?
0.32, 32 cents.
0.32, 32 cents. And then X, because we don't know the number of minutes. Plus what?
1999.
$19.99, that's our base per month cost. Very good. What's gonna be our equation for the diamond plan? Of course, we have Y equals, sorry, my marker's not letting me work. Let me get it done.
What did we say D was gonna be?
B is our base, it's our base cost.
Like the 1999 or the 39?
Right, we're replacing B with the base cost per month. Okay, let me try this again with a new marker. So Y equals, the diamond plan, how much is it per minute?
16 cents.
Is it 16 or 18?
18.
18 cents. 0.18 times X, which is our minutes, plus, and what's our per month charge?
39.99.
$39.99, very good. And our last plan, the platinum plan, Y equals, and what is our per minute cost on that?
So it's
It says unlimited, so it would be nothing, right? We don't have to multiply any minutes, we don't have to multiply price per minute. So we just have a base cost. What is that?
82.99.
$82.99, very good. So those are our 3 equations. So we've completed step 1 and step 2, defining our variables and writing an equation for each plan that represents the cost based on the number of minutes used. Step 3 says, using increments of 10 minutes, make a table that shows the how much each plan costs. So we could make a table by hand and plot all this out and say, okay, well, we're going to look at our, is it bronze? No, it's not bronze. Yeah, our bronze plan. And we're going to figure out how much it costs at 10 minutes and 20 minutes and 30 minutes and so on. And we're going to do the math. We're going to say that Y equals 0.32 times 10 plus $19.99. And we would do the math and we would find out that that costs $23.19. So we would go up here under our bronze plan and we would say that at 10 minutes it's $23.19. And then we would go down and go do that for 20 minutes and 30 minutes. And then we'd have to go over here and do it for the diamond and platinum plans. One by one, all by hand. That would take a very long time. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I'm going to show you how to do it on the computer in a super easy way. So, on your Word document, across the top, there's next to home it says Insert. We're going to click on Insert. And we're going to go down, all these, there's colorful images. It says Picture, Clip Art, Shape, Smart Art. We're going to click on Chart. A pop-up will come up and it has several options. We want to go down to where it says Line and click on the line graph because that's what we're going to be making as lines. And click OK. Now as you can see, the screen pops up and it opens into 2 sides. This is an Excel document and this is a Word document. It's going to all come together. Right now we're going to focus on the Excel document. Did you have a
I
question?
got to move.
Okay.
I don't think it's computers.
Okay, so right now we're going to focus on the Excel side. And across the top it says Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. That's what we're going to put in the title of each plan. So our plans are bronze. Series 2, what are we going to put there? Diamond. And what's Series 3? Platinum. Very good. All right, now our categories. That's actually going to be represented by our X term. What is X? It's minutes. So we're going to put what in here? Increments of what were the directions?
Increments of 10.
So we're going to start with 0, and then we're going to put 10. And we can go through and keep counting that, but let's not. We're going to highlight both the 0 and the 10. And you highlight by holding down, selecting them, and letting go. And at the bottom, right corner, there's a black box, and you're gonna put your mouse right on it, and your mouse will turn dark. And you're gonna click and drag down, don't let go, and go all the way down to, how far do we have to go up?
Line 32. Oh, I don't know.
I think we have to go up to 300, the new directions say to go to 300. So we're gonna go all the way to 300. We're gonna click OK, and you can see our graph changed, but also our entire area here in the blue section expanded. And it counted by tens for us. If yours did not count by 10, you might want to try again. Or you can type it in manually. Okay, and I wanted to go ahead and get rid of the data they had in there. Okay, I'll come around. The data that they have in there, that's not our data, that's not what we want. So we want to highlight that, and I click delete. You can also right click and cut.
What these other buttons, I'm sorry, what
We're deleting the data,
Deleting the
like the
data.
4.5,
Oh.
all the way over to the other.
Yeah, 0, 10, 20 years is fine. You went too
It's
far.
less
Stop
multiple
the
cells.
Take it back to the top.
Yeah, we're in order.
You have to put one at the bottom of this blue
Go
section.
to-
Excellent. So now we need to put in our data. We could go ahead and type in here our 2319 at 10 minutes and go that way and go ahead and do the numbers manually, do the math manually, and figure out all these numbers. But we don't need to do that. The computer will do the math for us in this instance. So in the very first box, which is B2, we're bronze at 0 minutes. B2, we're in that box. We're going to type in our formula for the bronze. Our formula for bronze was y equals 0.32x plus 1999. We don't need to put in y. We just need to put in the equal sign, so we're going to type equals. And that's next to the backspace on your keyboard. Good. And then we're going to put,
I don't know.
What?
I just did it manually, you just hit me.
yeah, just go through and delete them. We're going to put what after our equal sign for our equation for bronze?
Equals 32.
Right,
0.32.
decimal 32. Now, if we put x in there, the computer's not going to know what we're talking about. X represents what? Minutes.
Yeah.
Our minutes are over here in the A column. So for this one, we're going to do A2, because that's the box where 0's at. So we're going to say times A2. And you can see that the A2 box is now highlighted in blue, which is a good thing. That's what we want.
What symbol do you use for the multiplication?
Asterisk.
You use the asterisk. That's multiplication on the keyboard.
Times A2.
A2, which is the box A2, because that's our 0 minutes. Plus 1995. 99. 1999. Now at this point, we're going to hit enter and something's going to happen. All of our math has been done for us, all the way through the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I might have done it wrong.
We can type it again. Let's do it again. I'm going to click undo.
Oh, I put equals, never mind.
So in box B2, we're going to hit equals, decimal 32 times A2 plus 1999, and hit enter. And you can see it fills in all our prices. So we didn't have to go through and figure out how much bronze was at 150 minutes. It did it for us.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think I looks like I did it right, but equals 132 asterisk
Okay.
8.
So first formula you're taking it. Then you're going to put 0.32. Then you're going to put asterisk for times, right?
Okay, and what
And
happened?
then you're going to put A2. Is equal to equals 0, and then you're going to add 19.
Just do the same thing for the other ones.
There you go, hang it.
Okay.
Yep, and
I
then
think
you're
I'm
gonna
pretty
put-
caught up now.
Okay, and then you're gonna put in the next formula.
For the next one, these are equal.
Is the price per minute, which is 1.18. And then plus the total price per minute, or the month price per minute, which is 39. Hold
I
on,
mean, these,
stop. Flip it right here. You're gonna put asterisk right there. You put A2.
Okay, I don't know where yours is.
Just put A2.
There we go. Okay, now we're all caught up.
Still,
oh, okay.
see why?
So now we can go on and do the other diamond and platinum plans in the same format. In the diamond plan, we're going to put our formula, which is, we're going to always start with the equal sign,
Equals 0.18
0.18,
asterisk plus.
Uh-huh.
Times.
asterisks are time, same thing. And we're going to use A2 again.
Oh, A2 is right.
Yeah, we're going to use A2 again,
There we go.
because that's our base of 0. Plus, what's our base rate? Let's see, $39.99. And press enter, and you can see our diamond plan fills in. We're going to do platinum the same way, although platinum's a little different, because we don't need to multiply it by the minutes, because the minutes are unlimited. So it simply equals $82.99. And press enter, and it'll fill it in. Excellent. So now what we need to do is actually go over to our Word document side, which is where the graph is at. That's over here. And we are going to click on the gray bar surrounding the graph. There's a very light gray bar. It's kind of off-white surrounding that. And we're going to right-click and go down to Wrap Text. And we need to make that square so we can move it around. So again, we're going to right-click,
One moment, I'm sorry, I just got done with platinum. So,
go to the gray bar on the graph, the line graph, right-click,
I click.
Wrap Text, and click on Square. And we're going to move that, we're going to grab it on the gray bar, where you want it to be on the gray bar. If you grab it inside, it's going to mess up your graph and move it around. You want it to be on the gray bar. We're going to move down just a little ways and have room there. See, I have a blinking cursor now up here. I grab my graph and I move it down. And that's because we have to insert something in there and we need that to be moved. So, with my blinking cursor, I'm now going to go back over here to my Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to highlight the whole thing, A, B, C, D, all the way down, 1 through 32. My entire set of data is highlighted.
When you enter in platinum, you just do equals
Mm-hmm. 82.99, and then press enter.
Okay.
And I'll catch up any questions at the end, so if you're a little behind, don't worry about it. We'll catch that up at the end. Okay, so we have that highlighted. We want to copy it. So I'm going to right-click and click on copy. And then I'm going to go over to the other side, over here to my Word document, right-click. And there's several pasting options. I like the second one because it puts boxes around it. And you can see there I have now pasted all my data from my Excel over here into my Word. At this point, your Excel document, which is on the right side of the screen, we can X that out. Just red X, click it, we don't need it anymore. So, you can see our graph is still there and our chart is here. So that completes step 3. It says, using increments of 10 minutes, make a table that show how much each plan costs, which we did that. And we used the increments of 10, we went up to 300, and we have that on our Word document. Now, what we do need to do is make it look a little nicer. You can do that on your own. I'm just going to show you, like, you can highlight this, you can move these, make them different sizes, you can make it different colors, you can do all kinds of different things. At this moment, though, we do want to highlight the whole thing. Go down, highlight it, but don't highlight it out here. See how it pops out to the right? I'm sorry. See how it pops out to the right? We don't want that. We want it to stay inside. We don't want this, we do want that. Don't want that, we do want this. So I want to make sure I'm stay inside my chart. And up at the top, there's going to be a highlighted section that says Table Tools. We're going to click on Layout. Because we need to make this smaller so that it will fit on one page with our graph. So we're going to make this about, it says 0.21 right now, let's make it about 0.15. That makes it quite a bit smaller. Maybe even smaller than that, maybe 0.11. Let's see if that works. On height, I'm not worried about width, because we can change that. But the height, I think 0.11 seems well. And also, let's go to Home. Across the top, click on Home. And let's change the font size. I'm just going to click the small button, make it smaller. That seems to work really well. See now, both of them are on the same page. And let me zoom out of my Word document so you can see. There we go, there's my page. So you can see now I have them both on the same page, and I'm going to move my graph. So that's what you want. You want your graph and your chart on the same page. So you can resize them and make them fit accordingly. So at this point, I'm going to zoom back in. And we need to go in and do a little bit of cleanup work on our graph. It's not quite done. So on your graph, go ahead and just click on it. Click anywhere on it. And we're going to go up to where it says Layout in the middle, Chart Tools, Layout at the top. And there's lots of options across here. The second one over here says Axis Titles. We need to label our axis. So we're going to do Axis Titles, Primary Horizontal Axis Title. Title below Axis is the option. So you can see it drops down. So we're going to click on that, and that pops up down here at the bottom. Now, what does this represent down here? Is this minutes or is this total cost?
Minutes.
Minutes.
Minutes. So we need to type minutes in that box.
Where exactly do you go to Premium?
Layout, Chart Tools, Layout. You have to make sure you click on your chart first.
Okay. Alright.
Chart Tools, Layout, and then Axis Titles. Primary Horizontal, title below axis. Okay, we're also going to do another axis. We're going to do our primary vertical axis. I personally like the rotated title, but you can do any of those that you choose. Now, what does this represent? Our y-axis. What does y represent? According to our notes. What'd you say?
Total cost. of
Total
minutes.
cost. So going back to that, y is total cost, so there I'm going to type in total cost. And again, you can, if you use total expense or whatever wording you like to use. So now we have our axis labeled. That's excellent. You can see our graphs cross and intersect at different points. We're going to come to that in just a moment. So that covers step 3 and 4 in one step. When we did that, inserting a chart into the Word document, we created our chart in increments of 10 minutes, and we graphed these on the same XY axis. This may look a little different than what you're used to, but imagine if this went all the way across. This is your Y and this is your X axis. So didn't we chart or graph all 3 plans on the same XY axis? We did. So step 3 and 4, done, completed, check mark. We finished them. So this one's finished. And again, you can resize these, make them different colors on your own. That's not relevant to your grade, I don't believe. Step 5 says determine exactly the 3 points of intersection. Well, we really can't look closely enough at that chart. So we cannot use this graph to determine the points of intersection. We could look at our table though. Let's see. Where are the prices the same? Well, on your homework you may find that some of the prices are identical when you look at them. Like For example, these two are really close up in here, but they're not exactly the same. And here, 81 and 82, again, they're really close but not identical. In your homework, you may find that they are. But to find when two plans or two equations are equal to one another, we need to set them equal to one another. So let me erase what we did earlier. And again, you're going to want to make notes on this because you do need to write about this in your paper. That you had to find the points of intersection, where they meet, how many minutes, at how many minutes are they the same cost? That's the essential thing that we're trying to find. At what number of minutes? Is it 100 minutes? Is it 80 minutes? Are they the same cost? And to do that, we have to set them equal to each other. Now, we have 3 points of intersection. We have where bronze and diamond meet. So bronze to diamond. And then we have diamond to platinum, and we have bronze to platinum. Those are our 3 points. So what's the equation for bronze? It's 0.32 x plus 1999. And if we want to know when it's equal to diamond, we set the equations equal to each other. And that will tell us when they are the same. So we're going to put in the equation for diamond. 0.18 x plus 39.99. And then what do we need to do from here?
Solve.
Solve for x. So I'm going to skip a few steps again. You can do this on your own. And we end up with 0.14x equals 20, which when we divide, we end up with x equals 142.857. I'm going to round this because this is 142 minutes and some partial minutes. I'm going to say that x is about 143. I'm going to round that to the next whole minute. And if you round anything in your paper, state that you rounded, that you know it was a decimal and you rounded to whatever number. So that's our minutes. So that's our point of intersection for bronze to diamond. It's at 143 minutes. If we wanted to find the cost, we could put it in. And we could do 32 times 143 plus 1999 and find the cost at those minutes. So as you can see, that's not on an increment of 10, so that's why it didn't come up. And we do that for the other 3. We would do diamond to platinum, which we would set the equations equal to each other, and we would do bronze to platinum. And we would do that equation, those 2 equations, and set them equal to each other. For example, the bronze to platinum one is a little bit simpler to work because it's 0.32x plus 1999, and it equals a number. Because the platinum equation is just a number, 82.99. And then I solve for x, and I get a decimal, 196.875. Any questions about finding the points of intersection? Okay. So our points of intersection are going to be ordered pairs. So if our x is 143 for bronze to diamond, we would have to find the cost to find y. Right now it's a big question mark. We don't know where it crosses at y, so we do have to put the cost in for each one. The number of minutes in for each one to find the cost, because the equation is y equals. If we want to know the cost, we have to solve for y. So each one, bronze to diamond, diamond to platinum, and bronze to platinum, will have an ordered pair that is its point of intersection. All right. So step 5 complete. Step 6. Determine the range of error time for when each plan is the least expensive. And I find this is easiest to do looking at your chart you make. So looking at the chart, we're going to go through the minutes and see 0 minutes, 10 minutes, 60 minutes, Which plan is the least expensive at 0 minutes? Bronze. And what about at 50 minutes? Is it still the least expensive?
No, yeah.
Yes, it's still the least expensive. What about at 100 minutes? Is it still the least expensive?
Yes.
Okay, when does it not become the least expensive? Or when does it become not the least expensive?
160.
Well,
150.
Okay, so at 150 minutes it becomes more expensive. Good. So let's highlight 64.79 all the way up to 19.99. That's the bronze 0 to 140 minutes. That's when bronze is the least expensive. So we highlighted that. We're gonna actually go up to the top and there's a paint bucket. It looks like a spilled bucket of paint. We're gonna click on the arrow and I'm gonna select a light color such as yellow. And I'm gonna highlight that because that way I can look at that and on my paper and it will be highlighted. So, what about diamond? When is diamond the least expensive? What minutes? At what minute increment does it start to become the least expensive? Is it at 180, 150, 140? Where? 150. So we're going to start at 150, and how far do we go?
All the way up or down?
All the way down. Well, 93.99 is a lot more than 82.99. Where do we stop? 81.39. Very good. So we're going to highlight that. I'm going to go out, grab my paint bucket again, and I'm going to make that yellow as well. Whoops, that made it green. That's color. Good. All right, now on the last one, what about your platinum plan? Which increments of minutes is it the least expensive? Where does it start?
240.
240, and it goes all the way to 300, obviously. And I'm going to highlight that yellow as well. Good. So we can see that our range of error time for when bronze is the least expensive is 0 to 140. Our range of error time for when diamond is the least expensive is 150 to 230. And our range of error time for when platinum is the least expensive is 240 to 300. So you will write about that in your paper. Now I'm going to talk a little bit, well, and that's step 6, so we're finished.
What about the, I guess, like the other coordinate, the y coordinate, for that?
Yeah, you can do those. On here, you can do the math on those and find your y coordinate on each one.
Okay.
So you'll have to go through and do that. And if we need help on that. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about your paper at this point. Again, the paper is 2 pages, and one whole page is your charts and graphs, another page is the writing. When you go through, you will have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. In your introduction, you're basically going to restate all 6 steps. You're going to vaguely say that you were given this assignment, you defined variables, you wrote an equation for each plan, you made a table, you made a graph, you found points of intersection, and you found when each plan is the least expensive. Okay, that's a very general introduction to your paper. Your body is where you really get into it. Basically, when you write your paper, you need to write it in such a way and make sure you explain yourself in such a way that the person reading it can understand what you did. Because you have to write it in the thinking that they have no idea what you were doing or why you were doing it. So for step 1, when you say, talking about defining your variables, that you were given the plan and that you define X as being your minutes and Y as your total cost. And you'll do that for each one. And then you'll go down to the next section, you'll say you wrote equations. And when you say, I wrote an equation for the bronze plan, you're going to say something along the lines of, let me see if I can find a spot to type. Okay, and I'm just going to type this right here so you can see it. And I'm going to make it much bigger. Whoops, that's too big. You're going to say something like, I wrote an equation for each plan, and the equation for bronze is y equals 0.32 x plus 19.99, right? Is it 19.99? And you're going to say that in your paper, in your writing, such as the equation for bronze is. And you're gonna do that for each one. You're gonna say that you wrote an equation for bronze, the equation for bronze is, the equation for diamond is, the equation for platinum is. And you need to write out each equation. Then you need to say that you created a table. You did, using increments of 10 minutes. And found the cost for each plan in each increment of 10 minutes. Step 4, graph the 3 equations on the same y-axis. You're going to talk about that you use the data from the chart to make a graph, to graph these on an xy plane or xy coordinate, xy axis, same thing. And that, you can talk about it a little bit, that your minutes are represented on the x at the bottom and the total cost is the top. And you can even talk about their different colors. If you don't print in color, it doesn't matter, obviously, because they're labeled over here. If you do print in black and white, you may need to change these colors because I'm not sure that they show up in different shades of gray. So you want to make sure that that's visible, very clear to your instructor. Some people do actually just go over it with a marker or a color pencil after they've printed it. So then you're going to talk about the 3 points of intersection. This is important at this point that you talk about how you did it. So how did we find the 3 points of intersection? Or just even 1 point, how did we do that?
We solved the system of equations.
Made them equal to each other and
Yeah, we solved the system of equations by setting them equal to each other. Very good, Bo. Very good answers. And you'll have to do that for each one. So that's how you find the points of intersection. And then how did we determine the range of airtime for when each plan? Oh wait, let me go back. Step 6, we're going to actually put in the conclusion because it seems to kind of wrap up the paper. So you can kind of wrap up your paper by talking about the range of airtime for which each plan is the least expensive. Because I think, isn't that what your boss is kind of after, like which plan is going to save us the most money? Because we don't know how many minutes your boss's company is going to use, you have to give her all that, or him or her all that information. So you wrap up the range of airtime. So this is where you would say, well, if our company were to use the bronze plan is the least expensive between 0 and 140 minutes. If our company were to use between 150 and 230 minutes, then the diamond plan would be the best for us. If we were going to use more than 240 minutes, the platinum plan would be the best for our company. And then you just kind of wrap it up. That's what you've presented, and you're finished. 2 pages, double space, you're done. You only need 1 page of writing. That's key. You don't have to write 2 pages. It'll be really difficult to get 2 pages of writing out of that. Questions? All right. So I'm going to wrap it up, and we are finished. All right. So now.